Before the Nook, a standalone audiobook narrated by Vesper Rook. I am, at the time of this telling, on the sofa arm. This is my established position, and I occupy it with the authority of someone who has assessed all available positions and reached a conclusion. The conclusion was reached some time ago and has not required revision. The sofa arm is correct. The nook around it is correct. The old wooden table at the nook's centre. The crystals on the windowsill warming in the morning light. The particular quality of the air coming in under a door that fits properly. All of it correct. All of it noted. All of it mine in a specific sense of things that have been assessed and claimed and kept. I have one eye. I see more than most creatures with two. This I have always found is relevant context. There is a woman upstairs who will come downstairs in, I note the time with the position of a creature who does not require a clock, 11 minutes. She will fill the kettle. She will put it on. She will make the exhale that is not performed and is the sound of a person confirming that the morning is in its correct order. I have been noting this exhale for longer than I will specify. It has not diminished with repetition. If anything, it has deepened. The way the warmth in this room deepens in December when the cold outside makes the inside more thoroughly itself. I find this, on reflection, a reasonable description of most things I have come to value. They become more thoroughly themselves over time. I note this. I note it with the care I give to things that are true and also in their truth instructive. But I want to tell you about the before. Not because the before was better, but it was not. But because the before is what makes the Nook legible as what it is, and I have found across the time I have been in this building that legibility matters. The Nook is correct. I want you to understand why correct is the right word and not merely a satisfactory one. And for that, the before is necessary. The before was a coastal path. Not this coast, a different one. I will not specify where, because where is not the point, and also because I have a considered relationship with the details of my history that I maintain through selective notation. What I will say is a coast. The sea on one side, a path of the kind that had been walked by many feet over many years and had arrived at the flattened particular quality of paths that do not need to announce themselves as paths because they simply are them. On the other side of the path, a low wall, and beyond that wall, the front of a hotel, and in the hotel's windows a warm light of a place that was inside and knew it. I was outside. I want to be precise about this because position matters. I was not lost. I had a working knowledge of my immediate geography and the wall and the path and the sea and the hotel, and I had catalogued all of it with the attention I bring to my surroundings, which is complete. I was not confused. I was not, as far as I could assess, in immediate danger of any of the specific dangers that coastal paths presented to small creatures, which I had also catalogued. I was simply outside, in the particular way of something that had been outside for long enough to know that outside had stopped being a temporary condition and had become simply the condition. I noted this. I noted it without drama, because drama was not useful, and also because I had been noting things without drama for the entirety of my catalogued experience, and I saw no reason to revise the methodology on the basis of the current circumstances, which were, I attended to the honest account of them, not the best available circumstances. The wind was doing what sea wind does on a coast in the latter part of the year, which is to say, it was present, and it had opinions, and it was sharing them with whatever it encountered, including me. I noted the wind. I noted my own response to the wind, which was managed. I had a working arrangement with my lungs that required certain conditions for optimal operation, and I was, this morning, providing those conditions at a reduced capacity. The wind not being a condition my lungs would have chosen had they been consulted. They had not been consulted. I noted this as an ongoing area of operational challenge. The light was the morning light of a coast in the latter part of the year, low, honest about its angle, not apologising for the fact of itself, but also not pretending to be more than it was. I found this, in retrospect, the most correct thing about the before. The light had always been honest. I had noted this even then and had found it, even if not comforting exactly, then at least accurate. And accuracy was something I had always been able to rely on, even when other things were less reliable. I sat on the path. I noted the texture of the path under my paws, the specific quality of old coastal stone worn smooth by years of feet, slightly damp from the overnight cold in the particular ways of surfaces that have been in the dark for many hours and are only just beginning their conversation with the morning. I noted all of this because noting was what I did, and because the path in its specific quality was worth noting. Then I noted the people. The people on the coastal path in the morning were the people of a place that had not yet fully committed to being awake. The early walkers, the ones with dogs, the ones whose relationship with morning was either very enthusiastic or very reluctant, and who had in both cases arrived at the same coastal path at the same hour by different routes of reasoning. I watched them with the attention I gave to human beings, which was careful and comprehensive and conducted from the position of someone who had found human beings to be, on the whole, more interesting than they appeared to suspect. The first was a man with a large dog. The dog noted me immediately in the way of dogs, which is to say thoroughly and without subtlety, the nose doing its cataloguing work at a range and with a persistence that I noted as professionally impressive, even as I found it socially excessive. The man noted me approximately 4 seconds after the dog, which told me something about the relative observational competence of the two of them. And he said, "There's a cat." He said this to the dog, which was not going to be able to act on the information in any useful way. He looked at me for a moment with the expression of someone conducting a brief assessment. The assessment concluded, he moved on. The dog expressed at some length and volume its opinion about the conclusion of the assessment. The man was not persuaded. I noted this. I noted the man and the dog without judgment, because judgment was not useful, and also because the man had reached a conclusion that was not unreasonable given the information available to him, which was a cat on a path in the morning. Cats were frequently on paths in the morning. This was from a distance an unremarkable observation. I noted that distance was the variable that made it unremarkable and that close attention would have revised the assessment, but I also noted that closer attention was not the morning's primary offering from the people on the path. I noted this as data. The second was a family, a woman, a man, 2 children of an age I catalogued as old enough to know better and young enough not to. The children saw me first. Generally, children did, their attention being less filtered by the reasonable expectations that adults had developed about what a coastal path was likely to contain. The younger one said, "A cat! A cat!" with the specific energy of someone for whom a cat on a path was an occasion rather than an observation, and began moving in my direction with the enthusiasm of a creature whose relationship with personal space had not yet been fully explained to them. The woman said, "Careful. We don't know where it's been." This was, I noted, a philosophically interesting observation. It was technically accurate. She did not know where I had been, and I was not going to be providing a summary, but it was being used in the service of a conclusion that the philosophical interest of the observation did not entirely support, which was, therefore, do not engage. The man said, "He looks thin." He did not say this unkindly. He said it in the specific register of someone making an accurate observation that they did not know what to do with. I noted the accuracy of the observation with the precision it deserved, which was, yes, this was correct. And I noted the register with the attention I gave to things that were true and also insufficient, which was also complete. The younger child was redirected. The family moved on. I noted them. I noted all of them. the dog, man, the family, the two women who came after and said between them that I would be fine, that cats always found food and water, that someone would be looking after me, that the seafront hotels often had arrangements for this sort of thing. They said all of this to each other rather than to me, which I noted as the specific quality of reassurance that was for the reassurer rather than the reassured. I did not find this unkind. I found it human, which was in its own category, and I noted it accordingly. One of the women slowed. She looked at me with a quality of attention that was slightly different from the others, more direct, less filtered, through the reassurances she had just been making to her companion. She looked at me and something moved across her expression that I noted as seeing. Then her companion said something and she moved on. I noted the seeing. I noted that it had lasted approximately 3 seconds. I noted that 3 seconds of seeing was more than most of the morning had offered, and that I was accordingly giving it more weight in the record than its duration alone might have suggested. I sat on the path. The sea wind continued to share its opinions. My lungs and I continued our working arrangement at the reduced capacity the morning had made available. And I noted with the precision the record required, which was complete, that the woman had slowed down and had said before she moved on something to her companion that I catalogued in the record with the full weight of its accuracy. She had said, "He'll be fine." I noted this. I noted that "he'll be fine" was a statement about the future made by someone who had not fully attended to the present. I noted that the present, accurately attended to, did not straightforwardly support the conclusion. I noted all of this without self-pity, because self-pity was not a methodology I had found useful, and also because accurate notation was its own form of dignity, which was something I had determined early and had not revised. So I sat, and then someone stopped.